Everything's good to go, by the way.
Shout out to Dala for being here. He's been an old friend of mine, and we've been trading a shitload, frankly said, together, and did some TA. Great to see you, bro.
Hi, bro. Yeah, it has been a while. Man, I was just seeing that you pinged for a voice call. And let's talk to Ambers. But now I'm finding out it's an AMA. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm hopping out again. But I catch you another time.
Okay, yeah, but what we're really doing here is like we have a chat together, and then I go through some charts, or someone pulls up a charts himself. So it's super fine if we ramble a little bit.
Okay, so this isn't in Project AMA?
This is no Project AMA, no. Like this is.
Okay, so then I just stay for a while. Okay, let's see how it goes. Oh, it is Thursday. Oh my god.
Yes.
Okay, every day is Monday.
So while I have you here, before I jump into my view on the markets, can you answer like one question? Like if it's like gun to your head, like besides Bitcoin, we know grandfather of crypto, but like what do you think is really interesting? Are you on the Hyperliquid, hype EVM train? Do you think Solana will be the big outperformer, like whenever this horrible market bottomed, or what's interesting to you besides Bitcoin?
Oh, sorry, I didn't get the beginning. Are you asking me right now?
Yes, exactly.
Oh man, I'm pretty much 90% in stables.
Yes.
And I think we are really due for a relief rally after 5 red months on Bitcoin, which we haven't seen since 2018, I think.
Yes.
So unfortunately, war's going on, which makes everything a little bit more different. It's still choppy, like every day. I'm not holding any trade like longer as 5 hours or 10 hours right now. Just looking to scalp 2%, 3% moves, and that's it. And today I'm especially asking me, did we break out or did we fake out, right? So I'm seeing this horizontal level at around 71, 72.
Yes.
And did we deviate above that and just go back into the channel and have more of the chop for the next weeks, months? I don't know. Or is this just a retest of the breakout, and are we finally getting this relief rally to, let's say, the FVG and CME gap is at 80? Yeah, 80 to 84, I think. This is the relief rally I'm looking forward to. But I give it a 50-50, man. Right now, at this point in time, I think, back to 63 is also possible. It's the same, yeah. So, like I said, just hopping in and out of trades for 2%, 3% for a couple of hours, that's it. And about Sol and Hyper, man, I will be loyal to Sol, of course. Looking forward to fill my bags with Solana again. But I think even if we get this relief rally now to 85 or 80, I think bear market isn't over. Yeah, it's just a relief rally, nothing to get euphoric or excited about. Yeah. And hype, I totally don't care about. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Like, as always, I think you're when you're saying something that it's connected to a great wisdom, because this is where we're at. We're not out of the bear market. Those are facts. A lot of things are speculation. The worst thing that can happen is when we allocate way too early. And I understand why people say, okay, hype is one of the greatest, and I also understand when you say like, hey, I don't care, because if we're being real honest, there are like, let's say, 6-7 like major SEX exchanges like Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, Bybit, and so on. And then you have like a pool of, let's say, like a top 5 dexes, where also Jupiter is in that pool, and all Jup, even though like they in my opinion, did horrible things with their tokenomics. All that stands in the way of like some juke rally as we saw it with Hype, is an adjustment of their tokenomics and of some like projects using tokens less of a salary to just refinance the whole ecosystem and just doing a little bit more buybacks, whereas some like buybacks can also feel like a forced mechanic just to push price up. Also for everyone else, thank you so much for joining. Tiger, Supremer, Phoenix, JJS, Edwin, and Dale. I started sharing my screen and would like to pick up like immediately like also one of the first upside targets that Dara just mentioned with like 84k, where I also highlighted yesterday. 80k is one of this like break above, and then we have one of the major TPs like for the current trades or day trades that would then be on the cards at 76k, as well as like a full or proper TP at like 80k, 81k, or as Dara just said, like 84k even. Let me just check.
Yeah, 84k is this fair value gap and CME gap, yeah. Daily fair value gap. Yeah,
which is an extreme magnet often. Here.
Oh no, sorry, that's 80k, not 84k.
Yeah,
84k is just my horizontal. Yeah.
Here, which would also align, which also is like immediately like directly below the point of control on the daily, like going like even half a year back from the initial sell-off, which has also been a bounce. The EMA 50 would then be on that level, and so I think what's like quite a tough pill to swallow, like if I'm like removing all the drawings, like we must hold the current level also for multiple reasons. Like this is the EMA 50 on the 4-hour chart. This is the bullish market structure. This is the higher high. This would be essentially also the retest. Like it would be the higher low. It would be a retest of like the recent high. And I bet you like if you draw FIB levels, yeah, exactly. It's the 0.5. If we do not hold the current levels, all of this makes no sense. And I think this is so important to understand, especially because we are gifted with so much volatility. Like really, this has nothing to do with like the normal chop or sideways market in that sense, because we have such an extreme, like bro, we had days, multiple days now with Ethereum 9% upside, 3 days already with Bitcoin over 5% upside in a day. Then you have a harsh rejection, but as we have seen, like for one of the first times, we have seen some like major acceleration out of those zones, where you simply see the angles just getting sharper, which kind of, you see here, just has to be the region where we're breaking out, because this is pure momentum build up that we're currently seeing. This is pure momentum. Like you have higher low after higher low, and once we break that market structure, all those people that are like now like started to cheer. I think 2 days ago people really started like to cheer for the first time in some group chats, which was just nice to see, like people being happy in crypto again and being like, oh wow, did this pay off now? Like the patience and like sticking and like being online. But if we're not moving up from here, it's really a tough pill to swallow. Like I'm positive for the last 2 weeks now. I'm compounding longs. I also think that the plays currently are getting more and more clean, because you just have like 2, 3, 4, 2, 1 risk reward setups that can just make sense, because you can have a stop loss below the point of control, below the recent low, yeah, where we're now printed the higher low, and you can have amazing logical take profits that are not even at the neckline, like which would be here at like 86 to 89k. But yeah, at like something around 80k where you have the EMA 50, and like those little liquidity gaps where we know that price tends to teleport through, which is also funnily that so many people have like obviously the flat numbers as a psychological level. That's almost like, okay, 80k, this is the number. And then a lot of people want to smart ass and be like, oh, if 80k is the like logical level and the clean number, then probably most people will like, yeah, then I go like $1,000 lower because this is like front running, and then I would be so smart doing that. Funnily, if you check this frontlining level, as a lot of people love to call it, due to this here, is where a lot of liquidity and like also resting orders are building up, will be building up. And so you have those teleport effects that like it's not even like 80k is the big level, but like this front running level, which also coincidentally fits together with the liquidity. So once we would break like 87k, 87.5 towards 79, then you will likely just teleport. Yeah, like another 5%, run a lot of stop losses. Probably a lot of people that would be like starting to short and be like, okay, here, and then you would put the stop loss a little bit like over 80k, then you liquidate those, and this is why you can have those price jumps like in a super clean fashion. And then you have this level which can probably be like another rejection in the short term, but then the other long trade, from my opinion, would be like break above this, have a clean flip above this, have a clean flip on the daily, above the EMA 50, above those big liquidity levels, and you can just rinse repeat these kind of setups quite easily. Otherwise, if you have the rejection here, just pull it on the side to just map out that potential like shorting setup, because I do believe that if we make it that far up here, then we can just blast through that. But you can make it to yourself quite easily that either like you fail at those levels, yeah, and you would not just like, oh, price hit 79 or 80k, so I will like market short. But what you want to see is like price fading out, right? Like you see price going here for the first time, like making a lower high again, and this is the level where you would engage and then trade towards the bottom line. Otherwise, we hit the full take profit, pull back a little, we do not break below point of control anymore, which would then lead us here to the next long setup with a full target here. And I think that also, I'm not saying that because we just have one of the amigos like just speaking about, yeah, hey, the day trades are probably what is the safest. It is what is the safest. You can see that also in aggregator in our chart postings over the last few weeks. We're solely trading and foreseeing like logical levels, and then we just trade up on it. Like if we see throughout the night price holding here, I closed my head shorts a few hours ago as I posted in aggregator. If we now see here the market structure really respecting the higher lows, then we engage again in a nice long setup with the targets as I shared at the 75 region, same as the 80 region. Depending on how price will react here, we will either flip short on a break below 79, 78k again towards the range lows, or hit the upside target longs. Just post it quickly. Well, welcome, Afonsini. Nice to have you. I'll just quickly post it in the aggregator. live from Stream. 3 Bitcoin setups depending on market behavior at crucial levels. Super easy. Next, hype. Let's remove all drawings and indicators for this one. I think it's always cool to, like, indicators are nice, but as the name literally says, they're also only there to maybe indicate something for you on a technical level, but it will never beat price action itself or your gut feeling, so don't blind yourself like just trying to chase these. This is a huge level here. We had it quite often. I know it by heart. You can also just see it clearly in the chart. The big issue with Hyperliquid at the moment is that we're not just pulling through with the strengths. Okay, this is definitely a lower high compared to what we had here, like this insane strength candle. I also think that the wick down here to 25 was a little bit low. Like, of course, you can just argue, okay, it was a liquidity grab. This is fair. But yeah, it can only be the golden pocket, or if you lose, this is like really a lot of stress. What I do not like is that, like just with the base FIB levels, right, that we painted also quite a few times, that this 34 level basically is quite crucial. And with the Fibonacci retracement and extensions, no matter which you prefer, yes, those levels work in the way that you say, okay, basically this is where I want to buy and this is where I want to take profit, yeah. But still, if you reject from the wrong side where could be a buying level, right? Like you could have also argued like, yeah, if we would have just like bottomed here, you would have engaged along. This is a little bit of a problem, okay? Just bottom to the top is that we extended below the golden pocket area and then now had a rejection with a lower high exactly at the 0.5, which isn't perfect. As long as we can hold this level, let's say somewhere here, this is a great longing setup again, okay? This would be a great longing setup, super clear. Stop loss, not too tight, but not too far away. I wouldn't even go as long and be like, okay, cool, because there's 9-to-1 risk reward or 10-to-1. I think that's a meme in a very big regard. I would do the following, because if someone would want to reshort it, right? You can also have the Fib retracement from this, like top to the bottom, okay, which would be here, the golden pocket. And then what you could do to just allow yourself both sides of the trade is you just use those markers, yeah, as your take profit, clean risk reward ratio. Then you could front run that on the short side as well, a little bit, yeah, with the stop loss a little bit behind your take profit. And this is essentially how I will actually play Hyperliquid. I am buying some spot Hyperliquid every now and then. I think from the exchange tokens it's one of the better bets, which is why it is definitely in my exchange token portfolio, because I think that their numbers and their liquidity and their product success outweighs the success of a lot of other platforms. The only thing or issue that I am just seeing in general is that we have such a sheer load of DEX and SEX tokens, which genuinely just means that they are diluting each other. We saw that in the NFT market, we saw that in the meme coin market, and exchange tokens are no different. As long as hype stays in the top 5 of those markers, amazing TradFi liquidity and first mover advantage, yeah, but Also, one of the exchanges that I'm using, Bluefin, or other exchanges like BitGet, Bybit, Binance, are also offering long, short, on gold, on silver, on oil. So those things that made Hyperliquid unique, every exchange is doing that as well now. I'm just jumping to the Infinite Discord. It's done. Perfect. And yeah, that's what makes it tough. So I would now jump over to the speed running of the chart. So just below 3 minutes per chart. Just going through the technicals. This is what we covered last stream. I think we rejected nicely of the suggested level here. We didn't even move that low yet. We filled the long trade. Currently we're up nicely just below TP1. If we're only going to retest the POC here and not down here, in that case I would even add more size to this long with a stop loss below this level here, because in my opinion, especially for an asset like Ethereum, it's absolutely crucial to keep the bullish momentum. And like, this just looks super tight, yes, because I'm on higher time frames just for the charting itself. Also because I'm not a 100x trader. So you see, even with that move, like, we want it to be like a really bullish structure, which is why we would enter here. We are allowing like a huge stop loss. Yeah, this is still a swing trade, okay? But this is just how I would add size. I just want to be clear about that. I have no problem being long currently on Ethereum, and it is a very nice looking trade so far. I have no problem just trading half size, okay? I have a problem trading like normal size or double the size if I'm like just entirely wrong. Like, after such a move, I think it's okay to just be a little bit defensive. But if I see price now respecting the point of control and bottoming somewhere here, like, okay, then I would obviously, I think that's clear, move the new entry. If I just see us not going down there, I will just market buy some, like market long some Ethereum. But what I want to make clear is I want to see right now that Ethereum is not going below the daily point of control. In that sense, I don't care if my entry is here or here, okay? I don't care if my risk reward is below 2 to 1, because this would mean a high probability trade. Our risk to reward is good enough on the standard trade anyways, right? We're not here just to like trade upon our ego. That's like, oh nice, I quadrupled the margin that I used. That's fucking bullshit. We're in here, or I am in here, just only with half size. And I will only double the half size to like normal size, right? Like, if I'm risking $1,000 per trade, currently I'm risking $500 per this trade, and I would only throw in another $500 margin if I see like this current dip being over anywhere here. And I think this is how it makes great sense to trade right now, because I think we will see, and we will have a proof for somewhat of a market bottom. I'm not even speaking about the macro bottom, but the medium-term bottom. I do believe March, April, June, July, maybe not July, but like the next few weeks, few months will or should be better than the last 2 months that we had. Regarding the midterms, I believe that there will be a risk for the market, like a big risk, at least short term. And like, just from what I figured after the 2017 bull market, like when we had that crash into 2018, where we like had the like kind of like bottom to like start rallying, is like when it's really hot around the globe, like between like July and September. A lot of people are on holiday season. There's no better way like to just pump the markets already up. Well, the normal person has no chance to like participate and has to buy higher. Only adding more size to the Ethereum longs and buys. if we make a higher low above daily point of control. Cool. Then Sol. Sol is already above the daily point of control, depending on where you zoom in. Obviously, like I can just go back here where we have the last quarter. Yeah, that's the idea, that you have like let's just call it plainly the initial nuke. Okay, the bounce, the bottom formation, and then again like the rounded bottom was clipping momentum to the upside. Sol has been extremely clean, and you can directly see that the upside, even if you would join freshly, even though I know that like we simply bought between 80 and 90, doesn't matter if your average entry is already at 84, 88, 89, if it's the current price, it doesn't matter, because the trading setup on Sol, as usually, is extremely clear. You just do not want a token like Sol that is such a strong runner to lose the momentum. Yeah, so I will put the swing trade back here. Obviously the target is here, just the EMA 50 boiling down, as well as like more of the day trade that could like affect us then like literally within like the next night, within the next 12 hours, is that you want to get in somewhere here. You just do not want to have the point of control being lost, and then you're aiming for the biggest liquidity of the, in this case, downtrend, because we are trading basically counter trend. Okay, we are still in a downtrend. This just feels like already as if it's the uptrend. We are still in the downtrend as long as we are, in my eyes, below the major EMAs, and we are below them. Even if we go up here, this would literally still be a confirmation of the downtrend. Okay, this is still the downtrend. If this can still go down here, it doesn't matter for the current trade setup, because Solana is proving that it has kind of the cleanest trades. This is not like some abnormal risk reward or anything. Those are like extremely logical levels. One is like for the shorter term, this trade can literally play out over the weekend until Monday, whereas this swing will be connected to way more turbulences. Like you can already anticipate, right? Like this is just some basic market or like logic about math, how an EMA works and how long it will take, due to this being the 100 and this the 50, how long it will take to like even out, so you can already anticipate where it will be, where the liquidity clusters are. Yeah, liquidity, EMA 50 anticipated. Yeah. For everyone that's in the stream, obviously know that I just painted the white ones besides the gray ones, which is why I have on purpose gray in my indicators and not white, so you see when I'm drawing EMA 100 anticipated. The anticipated. And there's no intelligence to that I'm not predicting where the EMA is going, but even if it is bullish, then that's why I'm coiling this up. But since we are in such a low time frame, within 20 days, like your EMAs are not like majorly changing, so we know where they will be, and we know where algorithms as well as hedge funds like have to TP by a rule set. Like if you are running a hedge fund, or if someone is running a hedge fund and is controlling like 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures of capital, then there is some certain type of rule set that if they bought somewhere here, that they must at least like lock in some of that liquidity, some of the profits, some of the clawing back, some of the margin, to park it in stable farms or whatever, park it in bonds from like certain trading profits when you hit major liquidity levels or EMA clusters. Yeah. Okay. So incredibly clear setups if Bitcoin behaves. I must say that because there are coins like Hyperliquid, sometimes also BNB Binance coin that they just tend to move more on their own. Solana is extremely dependent of Bitcoin just behaving, right? Solana can run up, as we know, like the OGs of Solana know anyways. Solana can run up 200% with Bitcoin being sideways. Solana just has no resistance against like Bitcoin going from now to 50k, obviously. Only exchange coins are doing good in a risk-off momentum, almost. I have one chart request from Nascool. I've never charted this. If any of you know what this is, I don't. LH, okay, DE ist einfach Deutschland, extra Deutschland, probably the broker.
That sounds like Lufthansa, LHA.
Oh, again, like, yeah, I charted Lufthansa once. LHA, ja, ist wie die Deutsche Lufthansa AG, okay, das hatten wir schon mal. Nascool is quite invested into Lufthansa. I can tell, okay, I see a red candle, I see a chart request for Lufthansa. No explanation needed, everyone knows what Lufthansa is. I think I will use this search function. There should be, I think I once anticipated that like we must go, not that we must go, but that if we lose this level, moving average 50, there is probably time to retest the 100, where you have also here, I will remove the box again, was quite the top, and here again, of like this nice rally that it had, whereas this was already a lower high, and to me it looks quite like the normal movement of this stock. Like this fits together. You can see that already. If I draw it like this, there will be a little gap here, but like, yeah, you could always trick like this. This is why I don't love doing those things, because you can always trick, right? Like I can move it here and then it looks like more synergetic with those. I know Nascool will watch the recording. I can already sense that it fits quite nice with this here, right? So this doesn't matter, okay? This is just like low-key meme / gut feeling. I know that I'm cutting this over. This is not the way to do like the analysis. Yeah, but we are just like checking what is like kind of the behavior of set asset. Does it respect the EMAs? I would say incredibly well, yes. Okay, so we just figured out those paths and they are quite parallel. So basically what you could call this, obviously in hindsight, that's a super nice stop hunt. Yeah, that's a nice liquidity grab. Same as here, a little overextension. So what is my little concern here with, oh, this would fit perfectly, no? If you look at this level, it also catches those, and you have the EMA 100 here, so it's either from here or then here you have the point of control, okay? And this is what I also already said when we were a little bit higher. What I do not love about this kind of chart is that basically you just have a buying level and then you say, oh, if we go below that, then this is a nice buying level and this is a nice buying level, okay? So let's say a person would have thought, oh, nice, Lufthansa, such a good company, it's down already 5%, okay, someone bought here. And then a person will say, oh, here's the EMA 50, I will buy here. Okay, now you're invested 2,000. Now you're invested 3,000 because this is the EMA 100, it has to fit, right? And you're still going down and you say, but whatever. Trader ABXYZ said, here's the point of control, so I'm buying here. So Now price is here. Okay? Price is here. And you bought here, 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 and here, let's say with equal size, so your average entry is here. This is a lot of pain. This is an extremely painful way of trading, and this is my problem, especially with those aged stocks of like those really proper companies that had like basically some sort of up only, whereas you are buying near the top, okay? This is a super sexy level. I'm just saying, like, I will move that away because the point of control, why it works better, in my opinion, okay? Just in my opinion, why point of control makes way more sense in crypto is because it's a 24/7 market that is like more focused on like taking out liquidity rather than like Bitcoin cannot have some insane announcement. Some government or some company can have an announcement that is bullish for Bitcoin in that sense, okay? Whereas like the stock company, like a company that also owns a stock, has it way more in their own hands, same as like shitcoins, altcoins, which makes the whole game different. 1 second, Coco. Hello, Coco. Coco visited us in the stream. She's turning 16 years next month. This is an extremely interesting level now school. I could put like a classic setup with a stop loss. I think that's bullshit. I will not do it. This is not how I would trade it. If I'm personally buying a stock like this, a level like this or the level down here are the only levels that would be really interesting to me for one big reason, and that is either we respect this whole uptrend, which aligns also with like extremely important market tops, or I do not want to participate in this. I think that must be clear. So it's just one simple trend that fits together with the EMA 100, that fits together with recent market tops. So this is really aligned in the sand, or I'm not interested in the whole call up, and I would much rather enter this literally 30% lower, because you will see like in the stream, like I'm not bringing up some AI charts because I think this topic is overtalked. I myself work only in two sectors, and this is the financial markets as well as IT security / development. And I can tell you, I do not know one person in the IT sector that is doing a proper job that lost the job because of AI. If that person did not ignore LLMs, or let's call it AI, if you work in those sectors and you're just making minimal use of those things, you're just getting better at your job, and you're probably boomer boss, 50-year-old, 60-year-old boss will just tell you, wow, you did a really nice job. Yeah, but the thing is, still, Lufthansa or other things are not taking any, let's say, metas, together with the fact that we have so many global conflicts at the moment. What do you hear? If you listen maybe to the radio, maybe turn on the radio tomorrow, doesn't matter if you drive to work or wherever, just listen to a local radio, no matter where you live in, you will hear about tourists being stuck in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, like all those countries, okay? I don't want to exclude anyone. You have a locked airspace, you have tourists being stuck, you have what? Cancelled flights, you have tourism warnings. All those things are not bullish for airlines. This is what I just want to pan out, okay? Want to pan out that we have flight and tourism warnings and an increased amount of global conflict, which is the opposite of a bullish metaphor airlines, and tourism travel related corporations. Which is why Lufthansa must either hold the crucial recent highs that must now flip from resistance into support while respecting the uptrend, or I am interested much lower, 20% plus downside in that case. Yeah. What I would like to add, I favor Yeah, I also know that there are leveraged, a lot of leveraged financial instruments for things like stocks that can still pay you dividends. It's just that if you have a company that pays dividends, owning something like that is much better than leveraging it on top, okay? AMD, I will leave it exactly like that from the last stream. We're currently hitting our buy level. I'm very much interested in AMD. You can use AMD for literally everything that has to do with computing, that has to do with AI, that has to do with mining, whatever, it doesn't matter. It is a great company, no matter how low the stock goes, same as with NVIDIA. Those are proper companies, and also before cryptocurrencies or AI, bubble hype, however you want to call it, gamers, computer users, people that are using it for graphic design to render something, that there are so many use cases. They're making graphics cards, processors, they're making so much. They are important. This was obviously, as you see, like price teleported so much that you cannot even see the candle. Obviously, we're retesting the liquidity. It is okay. I'm never happy, like extremely happy or euphoric, same as you, if a stop loss hits. If the stop loss hits, I think this is the most logical level. Otherwise, this whole upside move is bullshit. I would still believe that this is a 3-digit stock, so I am not shorting AMD at all. I think it's a cool company that makes sense and has solid products, so I'm only interested in owning that stock and benefiting off their development. If I want to bet against something, then those would rather be if I see Bitcoin looking bad. I much rather short some altcoin that's owned by some sketchy founders that do not have a real volume, not have a real DeFi interest on their chain. So still interested in this great company at 3 different levels that make sense to me personally. Yeah, not deep. Gold. I've mapped out the levels because in the last stream someone asked me if how I'm trading gold. Gold is one of those assets I only own and stack it physically for the last decade or so. If I'm gifting or whenever I'm gifting some accessories to my girlfriend, it can only be real gold, white gold. I never did silver, so it's really just like if I'm like just gold, white gold, and some stuff like ruby, sapphire, or smaragd, topaz, whatever. So you just have like real stones and real precious metal, because it's not only beautiful, it has a use case, it goes up in value. What did I highlight here with the orange levels? Those are all the times where gold moved down more than 5% in a week. And this is a pattern that I cannot call where it's like, oh, it's every 3 months, where I can just visualize to you whenever you bought a gold in a week where you really had some downside candle, it did not take too long for that investment to look good again, right? What I am also highlighting here is that it's not worth it. Coco, you're so cute and supportive. Thank you for enlightening the stream. What you also see is that it's always worth to wait for those types of candles, okay? Do not FOMO into gold. This was the last pointer here. Now just 1 week later, for the first time again in 1 month, we have such a candle. Let's measure it. Minus 7% on gold. To me, yeah, moving that up here. Just moving it here. We do not forget, obviously, this is from this one. To me, this is one of the interesting buying opportunities. You do not really want to have gold below that again. Yeah, but you want to have that structure, bullish market structure being kept up. Okay, so I will use the current level down to here. Yeah, we'll move this away. I will give it another arrow so people really see. Let me check one thing. No, it's just below. Sorry, I would have loved. Okay, this is a bit better. This is a little bit cleaner. Sorry, I just wanted to adjust it. Yeah, minus 7% on gold. So what do you think what I will do here? Obviously, I will give the arrow. Seems like a worthy buy with the roughly 10% drawdown. We allow more leeway to the downside. Okay, so I think, as per my thesis of like, the thesis is way longer. You all know how old gold is, like how long you can bet on gold, also in the financial markets. I just want to explain, usually whenever we saw like a 5 to 10% drawdown on gold, it played out quite well after a few months, okay? We're also aware that price spiked up here, so what we want to see is that we're holding up the structure, which is why it just goes down to like 4,800. That's another like around 5% drawdown, which would mean like gold would be down at this point already 13% of those highs. Yeah, this is like kind of historic, okay? This is 11%, yeah? This is almost 11%. This is also almost 11%. Okay, I think we're up to something here. Okay, 9%. 7%. Already we are at 7%, so what does it tell us? That this might be a quite intelligent level when you're buying here, and in some months you could already be up like 15% on your goal. So I think really cool that we looked at it this time. Interesting find as per historic data. Gold is down over 7% off the highs, and usually bottomed even in extreme situations at roughly 11% downside at max, which is why I think scaling in between here and 5% more downside probably makes sense. Sweet. Doge minus 5%. Risk really is not on, right? Like you see, no matter if we have like some bullish momentum, if we go down like Fartcoin minus 4.5, Hype minus 5%, even though it's an exchange coin, with almost stable Doge minus 5%, Pepe minus 5%. Zcash minus 6%. Oil. I wanted to short oil. I can do it. I think it's just so obvious that gold and oil probably doing well. This is a fib level. There's no genius to it. Like obviously you can buy gold in such a horrible global situation. Yeah. I really don't believe we go up that much. It's just interesting, like you can say this is because of the war or whatever. Obviously the war has a great sad role in that. Here was the neckline of the dump. It's the 61.8 level. And we perfectly bounced off of it twice. Like, it still shows how crucial those levels are. Okay. 34, 35%. I would, before I'm like long, like owning some oil, having some oil exposure, makes a lot of sense. Doesn't matter if we hope, like hopefully, I think we can all agree on this. We're all rooting for those conflicts to end. This is no fun. Everyone has some family, even if you don't have family or friends that are affected by this. It's horrible. It's unnecessary. I would like to see oil doing a retest here, okay? And then I would long some again. I think also oil is a great asset to short every now and then. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's so volatile, it's absolutely great. Okay? So let's zoom in a little bit. Here also, it's so nice. You see, it was just the top that was the nuke, then it was the 0.5 of
every day.
Like, this is so great. Like, the point where the market started nuking from the bottom to the top turned out in the future, no one could know that here, that it will also be the 0.5 fib level, okay? And if you notice that an asset is responding so nicely to Fibonacci levels, to harmonics, to simple horizontal levels, no hocus pocus needed, yeah? Then it will also respect it in the future. This asset will not forget after a 7-year trend of responding to that to trade like that. Yeah. Also, AI will not change it. So here, why did I start here? Because this was like of this mega run up. Yeah, COVID times. Yeah, COVID run up. This mega run up had the first huge correction, yeah, and that was support that then turned into resistance. This is why I'm leaving that for the future as our next target, yeah. And then you started to print lower high after lower high, the confirmation that this rally is exhausted. So I'm using those levels to anticipate, yeah, super clean. Yeah. Now for the first time we broke out of this. This is a reason why I'm, yes, you can short this here, but this is why I'm rather looking to continue buying and betting on the strength on the way towards $100. Okay, we can pull this up a little bit more, so we respect those levels more, and so we can get closer to, because I also want to highlight that I kind of want to front run $100 a little bit. I think those are extremely plausible ways and levels to trade oil. I would only buy oil above 100 if we really stabilize here. I do not see the oil price doubling so quickly. Disclaimer, I do not know what the sickest people and politicians on earth are deciding tomorrow who's going to get bombed tomorrow. Obviously gold and oil and Bitcoin or whatever people choose to be the safe haven assets can just skyrocket to the multiples. Just want to put it out extremely clearly. Clean levels on oil in the past 6 years, if you simply look at fibs and horizontals, trade ID included. Okay, this is bringing me to the last stock I want to cover. I think I said SanDisk and Bandai Namco. Why am I charting Bandai Namco? Pokemon is the biggest IP that is undisputed. What we also have let me just check one thing. Really, yeah. Sorry. What we also have is the trading card game hype that is also leading to not only insane cash flow and income for said companies that hold certain IPs in their company, but the thing is that this leads to an outstanding amount of marketing because you have so many influencers and streamers speaking about them. So Bandai Namco is aimed at the second biggest hype in the TCG world out there, and that's One Piece. Yeah. Obviously, you also have Digimon, which is kind of on the rise, but it's just not getting enough traction. Yeah. So I just wanted to point it out that maybe you are not that much into Nintendo, you're not that much into trading cards or any of those. You do not have to get exposure if you want to have exposure in those markets by buying those cards. You could also bet on the stocks if the company allows it. Sorry. You also have Konami for Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is for the first time making like a whole different design for their cards, that they have the full art also, which could lead to an extreme amount of hype as well. Okay, I just wanted to point out this is a possibility. Obviously nothing is financial advice, as I'm not anything in that regard. We're just throwing together some ideas and doing a trading journal here. I just wanted to throw out that some of those companies that also have a good fundamental basis. Sorry, I'm just focused right now on not drawing the most. So I know you could just use the channel here, the fork. I want to do it manually though, to highlight something. And it's an absolutely clear trend, okay? And if you find a narrative like something like it's so huge, like there are so many streams and whatever, TCGs are not going away. Some of the stuff that I bought has performed way better than Bitcoin or any stock in the past months, okay? And if you have a clean chart together with a clean narrative and clean fundamentals that the company is doing well, that the company is profitable, and that it really hits the current zeitgeist. And that is one of those things is that these things like video games, like collectibles, physical collectibles, analog collectibles, yeah, they really hit the nail in the coffin with the current times. People need people. People love to have cards that they can trade with cards with other people. People love that there is some extra world that they can dive into. Today was the release of the Pocopia Switch game. Then you have the next Zelda coming up. Then there are so many companies and games and things that just make this what for so many people struggle way more than we do. So many, we all see so much negative news. And if there is the narrative that something can multiply the money, no matter which one piece trading card release you bought, for the initial price you were in, and same as for Pokemon, you are up over 50 to 100% within the release day if you immediately flip this. Fuck scalpers. If anyone is a scalper, I don't want anything to do with you. You're a horrible person and destroying the hobbies just so you make some extra $50. But companies like these that look so clean, they deserve your attention, from the POV that it is a working product and that you can get a very easy exposure to those metas without having to get an expert in those hobbies. Yeah, Bandai Namco is a great. Yeah, this is the first time that I tried to do this thing and that I spoke about it like that, but I just think it makes sense. Okay, we're going back, just to make it clear, please look at my screen. We are looking at 2016 to 2027 in the future, okay? Right now, from the day to day and here, this is exactly a decade. And this is just a clean performance. This is probably some bullshit from the exchange, doesn't matter. But this is a clean uptrend. You're buying a proper retest. Probably a lot of the downside of Bandai Namco had to do with the Pokemon hype, drew attention away from one piece. But if you have a few names, a few IPs, a few things that you just know, cinematographic, okay, Doom is the new Matrix, then there is Lord of the Rings, then there is Star Wars, yeah, okay, Interstellar, Gladiator. There are a few movies that Fight Club, that everyone knows or has a strong opinion on. Maybe you love Gladiator, maybe you think it's complete bullshit, okay? Maybe you are into Star Wars. Some people say okay, the new stuff from Disney, ever since Disney's with the Mandalorian, so I don't like it, and someone else is yeah, but the old Star Wars movies you were not able to. Okay, so the point that I just want to make clear is that there are a few names, you can literally go to your mom probably and show her a photo of Pikachu and she will at least say, yeah, that's the yellow mouse that you like so much, okay? And if something is that well known, and you have those big fundamentals, and the fundamentals right now is that the world is extremely dystopic in a lot of viewpoints, that I believe that one of the best bets, besides some privacy, okay, privacy and crypto and whatever, technical development, it's a classic, but I think the human-to-human connection and the sympathetic companies and the point of having a good time and being able to make money with having a good time, right now, to close the whole stream and going from where I spoke to you in the beginning and also to close it, I think that we also have in common is that we are huge fans of collectibles, also in the Nintendo sphere. Those things are just safe bets, and it's so satisfying to have there are so many peoples in that space where like you have those products. Okay, maybe like your video games are also like digital, but they are still in a sense analog, that you are not always, at least, forced to be online, like in World of Warcraft or something. And there's such a big satisfaction in the fact of being able to make money with your investments and actually having fun, and also to have the ability to park yourself, your consciousness, into something that's just fun. And so I believe that those are better investments than something like, and now we go back to the other stock, Lufthansa as an example. Yes, it's a great company, it's a serious company, but in a time where we have over 12 countries on Earth in active conflicts that have a locked airspace, that are constantly either receiving bombs or are shooting rockets. In such times, I really believe that private entertainment, can outperform travel, and therefore like the risk of your life or the risk of the company not being able to print revenue, can outperform it by magnitude. Yeah. We're now at 70 minutes, so if anyone of
If you stop recording, Ambus?
Don, you can stop recording if you want. Okay?
Okay.
I was just sitting smiling here when you started to talk about Pokemon and trading cards again. Good old